Okay then everyone, so I just thought I'd give you a quick video on how to make bacon. This is my really quick method, nothing fancy, it's not even very fancy pork, it's just cheap pork. But in reality, most places where they are selling bacon, it's just cheap. So I've got some cheap meat, so actually if I show you, it's just a piece of loin, nothing expensive. You can see 2.6 kilos, it was on offer, £10.50, so I thought, you know what, we'll use that. Recipe, I've already mixed all the bits and pieces, it's a bit boring watching that really. So what have I got? So I've got some bay leaves, so I've put in 3 bay leaves, you've got 10 juniper berries, okay. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of runny honey, adds a nice flavour. I've not used brown sugar, normally I'd use brown sugar but I'd run out, so brown sugar is good, white sugar is okay too. So 50 grams of white sugar, and 90 grams of just normal sodium chloride, table salt, absolutely fine. And then the special ingredient is the nitrate, so 6.25 grams of nitrate. You have to be really careful with that. So you've got to measure it absolutely accurately to the nearest hundredth of a gram. If you've not got any scales for that, buy some off Amazon. So that's my dry rub. Okay, I've got an IKEA bag. These are the big IKEA bags. Perfectly fine to put it in. So I'm going to put my rub at the side. I'm going to get this pork out and have a little look at it. So it was off the counter. So I actually got to see it before they sort of wrapped it up. So we'll get this out. Hold on. And it's in a net. So we'll just get rid of this net. Pretty useless and not required. There we go. Go in the bin. There's our piece of meat. Now, it would make a nice little roasting joint and they scored it, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that skin off, which is going to just allow a little bit better penetration for the bacon cure. And then obviously I can use that skin for something else. It's not going to matter too much how you cut it off. There's different ways of doing it. Let's just have a go like this. I tend to just take a very rough sort of idea. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. What you do need is a really good sharp knife. And then I tend to, it's much better to try and work away from you and you don't cut your fingers off. But in reality, the bacon doesn't need a lot of fat on it. So I just do it a little bit roughly like this. And it's not got much fat anyway. And what you can do actually is push your knife in like that. That can work quite well. There we go. What I'll probably do with this is make these into pork scratchings. To be fair, let's just try and work our knife underneath. So it's not as hard as it looks. There we are. So hopefully you've got an idea there of what you can do. Like I said, it's best just to pull it and work your knife. You can't see quite there, look. So you pull and just work your knife at an angle. This though is nicely sharp, and that's what makes a bit of difference in that process. You just can't do it with a blunt knife. So just work that bit off. There we go, almost there. Job done. There we go. So there's my piece of skin. I'll do something with that later. I'm going to put that in a dish. We've just got the pork ready to go. So there it is. Nothing more to do with it. So it's a nice, good, solid, meaty piece. As I said, it's got a little bit of fat on it still. Doesn't really matter. I might trim that off because what I'm going to do is we'll smoke it later. So I'm going to move that out of the way. We'll get our bag. Now, we'll have a little method for this. Watch. Put my hand inside because obviously I've touched the meat. I'm going to turn the bag over. There we go. Just going to slide the pork in. And obviously it won't have touched anything, will it? Which is nice. So that now, perfectly sterile. just going to get rid of my board out of the way, wash my hand. Okay, one thing that bugs me immensely is when people don't wash their hands on these cooking shows. This is no way that it's not a good thing. Now then, what I'm going to do is just literally then toss in half of the marinade on the top, and then we'll just get a bit of a shake, turn it over, put a bit more in. Let's just get that all properly covering. Now what you can do is put your honey in, but often it's a mistake, because what happens is all the salt gets stuck to the sugar. That's no good. So I'm just going to give it a good massage in to start with, and then we'll put the honey in after that. There. Okay, so we've definitely got a good coating. Okay, because the honey's not very mobile. That's kind of the problem. I'm just going to do this by eye. So literally, hold on, turn this one over. Hold on, let's put the lid back on. It's gone a bit thick this thing. It's all right though. There we are. So here we go. So just a good squeeze. Just to add a note of honey, because remember we've already put sugar in. There you go. Good dollop of sugar, good dollop of honey. So then I'm just going to smear that in a little bit. Now it won't matter because that will start to dissolve, but at least it's not taking all the sugar with it. Now what I'll do, a little trick to this, to seal it, and let's just maneuver the pork to one end of the bag. Now don't get over eager with this. If you get over eager, you burst the bag. So I just want to try and push out most of the air. And then we'll go for a bit of a reseal. Then we'll push a little bit more. And then there we go. And literally, that should do it. Okay, so then I'm going to put it in the fridge. I'm going to do it meat side down. And I just tend to fold that bit up and put it against the fridge wall, and that keeps it all nice and good. And then the next day I'll massage it and turn it over, and I'll keep turning it over, and probably twice a day for the first few days. I reckon that'll be about 10 days at least, and then we'll do the next phase. There you go. That's making bacon. Not hard at all.